Well, we usually get up around 4 o'clock,
Uh-huh.
and if they were outside, we rounded them up
Mm-hmm.
and took them across the street. And
Across the street, but they were brought them back.
pasture.
Right, they brought them back across the street to the
Yeah.
barn here. Right.
Yeah. And I don't know what story you want to hear.
Well, so then Grandpa went to work, and what was your
went to
day?
work
Obviously, you
around,
had kids to take care
6
of.
o'clock,
Yeah.
and then I would go out and finish the milking
Okay.
and start cleaning the barn.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the children had to go to school, so
Right.
along about 7:30, the kids all got up and got dressed and got cleaned up.
How did they take a bus to school, or did they walk, or?
They took a bus,
Mm-hmm.
and Frank was then 5 years old, I guess. He
Right.
was just starting school. And of course, I had Carol
Yeah.
here and Leonard.
So-
Leonard
so-
was still home here.
I know a bunch of things I do when I have kids and I have to clean the barn. What did you do with little ones when you had to get the barn clean?
Well, I had usually an older foster child
Okay.
that would watch them for the,
Right.
and they would be sleeping.
Sure. Yeah.
And so then I would finish up the milking
Mm-hmm.
and come in and get some breakfast for myself.
Sure.
And then I had to go out and wash the milking machines.
Uh-huh.
And but that particular day, the day of the chasing the cows, I got back in here. The kids were going off to school probably about 8 o'clock, like yours do.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to make it so it'll follow in line.
Uh-huh.
We went back into the house and the telephone rings, and it appears that our heifers, the young stock that's pastured up in North
Right.
Granby.
So these are heifers. These are unbred female cows that
Right.
are just sort of waiting to be old enough to be bred.
Right.
Right.
And I think there were 7 of them, and it appears they were not where they were supposed to be. They had gotten out of their
Yeah.
pasture.
They went for a walk.
They went for a walk, and so I went with Carol and Leonard up to Lost Acres is where they were,
Mm-hmm.
and rounded up the stock. It wasn't going to be that easy. Chased them down through North Granby Road, down the middle of the road, and I was dressed.
Now that's probably not as busy a road back then as it is today, but still a major road, right?
It's a major road,
Yeah.
but there wasn't that much traffic.
Right.
And I think it was 10 o'clock before I got them together. And I got as far as Mountain Road, and the man next to, it was like a nursery then, I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, is it on the corner of Allen Cider Mill and
Down across the street.
Cossett
this way.
Library? Yeah.
And he had a pasture like this
Mm-hmm.
in his yard, and then next to the pasture was his garden. And so he stuck his head out and he came out and he said, "Ugh." So I said, well, would you mind if I used your little pasture here and to put my cows in, and I'll go and get a truck and bring them back to the farm.
Right.
No was his first answer.
Can't believe that.
He looked me right in the eye and said, no, here I am, dressed in men's clothes, because I was going to shovel the manure.
Yes.
And I'm up in North Granby.
Right.
And so I said to him, okay, but we have a choice. Either I use your pasture And if I don't, these cows are going to go right through your garden. No question about it. They'll go through the garden.
Right.
Oh, all right. So he let me, I don't even know the man's name.
Yeah.
He let me use his pasture. And I thought, well, I've accomplished one thing. The kids were still in the car safely, and I had the cows. And I come home here and got on the phone to call my husband.
Mm-hmm.
And he was at Pratt & Whitney. And so while I'm on the phone, Carol takes a toy camera and went into one of the lock closet upstairs and locked the door from the inside.
Mm.
So I couldn't unlock it with a key,
Right.
and she didn't know how to unlock it. She was only little. She was
my- Like Luke's age.
like Lukey.
Yeah.
And so I'm standing by the door saying to Carol, "Don't cry, honey. Everything's fine." And the tears are running down my face. And it's 90 degrees in the shade. And I'm sweating.
Yeah.
And so I get on the phone with my husband and said to him, "If you don't, you better come home and help me get the door open, or I'm going to break it down."
Yeah.
I had every intention of chopping a hole through the
Right.
door, but I kept saying to him, "It's all right." I mean, so she was pretty good.
How'd she get out?
We unhitched the hinges on the
Oh,
door and took
okay.
the door off when Bill came home.
Grandpa came home and yeah.
But in the meantime, she was sitting in that closet all the
Wow.
time.
She stayed calm that whole time.
Well, of course, she had this little camera,
Right.
and it entertained her nicely.
Yeah.
But she still, "Mommy, I want to come out."
Sure.
You know. And
What a day.
we got him out, got her out, and he came home. We went back up and got the cows.
Got the cows, yeah.
And
Had to fix the fence, I'm sure.
yeah, we had to find out where it
Yeah.
broke.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had to go back up there and fix. Well, we had the stock all down here, so we had them in one of the little small pastures. Probably that one. And but it was quite a day.
Yeah. So 4 o'clock in the morning is morning milking time. What time is afternoon milking time?
About 4:30, 4:45, we start getting ready, and he'd be coming home from work
Okay.
along about then.
Wow, that's a long day. 6:30 in the morning to.
Oh well, we
Yeah.
spent longer days than that.
Didn't we always have dinner at 4:30, and then did
Yeah.
Dad do the milking before or after we had dinner?
We both did the milking
Well,
after
but yeah,
dinner.
after dinner.
After dinner.
After dinner, so
Yeah, after
Yeah.
dinner, because he always was an early person. And
Well, plus you're exhausted by 6 o'clock. You
Well,
got up
right.
at 4 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, well, 4 o'clock. Well, I still get up early.
No, I know. I see your lights on at 5 o'clock, and I think, boy, I have to get up right now. You don't have to get up right now. Why
I know,
are
but
you
it's
up?
funny. I figured that when I got to the point where I didn't have to get up,
Uh-huh.
that I'd sleep in. I don't
Mhm.
sleep in.
No.
Like this morning, 4:30, I
Mhm.
was wide awake.
Yeah.
And so I get up and got dressed, brushed my teeth, all those little things.
Yeah. So what were some other things that were your responsibility on the farm? Did you have a garden or?
Oh, we had a
Um,
garden, but basically, well, the kids that were old enough would often help with the weeding.
Mhm.
We had a little deaf boy. He said, "I know why you have a garden, just so we kids will have to go out and pull weeds."
Mhm.
But and I said, "Well, if we didn't have a garden, where would the carrots come from?"
Right.
And he said, "I got you there." And he said he'd go to the supermarket and get them in plastic bags.
Sure. Yeah. That's where they come from,
That's
right?
where they come
Yeah.
from.
I've heard that before.
So, well, that was pretty much the day, but we had course, we had the boarding children.
Mm-hmm. So how many people were in the house usually at one time, or how many kids?
Usually had my own 2 or 3, Carol, Lynn, and Sue, and Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Sue
4.
wasn't born yet.
Oh, okay.
And so we usually had 4 to 6 boarding kids
Mm-hmm.
of
So-
different ages and different families, naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because sometimes you had babies and sometimes they were older.
only once we had a real small baby.
Oh, okay.
My social worker brought me a 2-day-old baby from the hospital.
Right.
And
That's a lot of work to add on top of.
well, of course,
other stuff.
when you've got teenage kids,
Well, that's
13,
true.
14,
Yeah.
and Karen was very, very handy
Mm-hmm.
at that time. And yeah, there was I can think of nights when I ironed. Of course, things were not made of material which you didn't have to iron at that
Yeah.
time.
Right.
The things they had to wear to school, the khaki pants,
Mhm.
because they weren't allowed to wear dungarees.
Okay.
And
You gotta tell Owen that.
they I'm trying to think of anything that interests you. Well, of course, my first foster child was 14 when I got him,
Wow.
and he stayed until he was 18.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's Wallace, and he now lives in Pasadena,
Oh, that's cool.
and he's got to be 81.
Wow. So he still keeps in touch, or?
No, he only came out here once, but he works for the A Coffee
Hmm.
company, and I haven't seen him. He may not even be around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
Yeah.
And,
You know what I wanted to ask you about is all your needlepoint. Did you?
that was done after I didn't take children anymore.
Okay.
And that
Sure.
would be in 1972 when Grandma died.
And you kind of worked for Cruel by Kathy? That was
I
over
worked
in
for
the
Cruel
mills
by
in Terriffill,
Kathy.
those
Oh,
brick
yeah.
I
buildings?
helped to design these pieces that are on the wall.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And there's one upstairs unless somebody took it. It's all finished, but it isn't framed. But
Okay.
It's a nice picture. But I just didn't get to do it.
Yeah, and we have a Christmas ball in our house that you made.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we designed those for Christmas time,
Yeah.
and I think I made 4 of those balls.
So how did you learn to stitch?
I think when I was 5, the thing I wanted most for Christmas was a sewing kit.
Wow.
So
Did your mother teach
made
you,
all these
or?
quick things too.
Oh.
I crocheted them afterwards. I
Yeah.
was, I did a lot of these. I did, at that time, I think I did 12 of them because I had grandchildren.
Uh-huh.
Everybody got an Afghan
Oh wow.
to roll around the floor with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, but the Cruel by Kathy was, I don't know how I got into that. But I wasn't the best stitcher in the world, but I stitched in her style, so it made it good. She'd tell me what she thought she wanted, and I would stitch it. For some reason or other, I can't draw very good now.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
you
do
used to
anything
paint
so
a
good.
lot of signs, right? I mean, we have that, the sign that we have in our house, the sweet corn sign, didn't you?
No, that was Natasha.
Oh, really? Natasha did that?
Yeah,
Wow.
she's
How
quite
about Grant?
grand.
What's his name?
He never made signs for us, so
Didn't he draw some pictures or something?
he has
He
pictures
was
in
an
the town.
artist.
He has.
Who's Grant?
Oh,
Not awful. He lived in the house right up there by the veterinary
Okay.
place.
Across
Yeah.
the street, or?
No, right in the
Oh, you mean?
complex. between the ring that they've got up there and the hospital. Hospital wasn't that big. See?
So it's not there anymore. That house.
Oh no, the house
Right.
is gone.
Where there used to be a road and a cornfield up there before they built the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he used to be an artist and stuff, and he did a
yeah.
lot of stuff. He's dead now.
Okay.
I don't know whether he's dead or not.
Yeah, because we've got an obituary.
Oh,
Uh,
I don't remember how many of them. Everybody I know is dead.
You're just lived too long, I guess.
That's right. It's true.
All right, so let's go back to the beginning. Tell me about where were you born, and tell me about your parents.
Oh, let's see. I was born in Auburn, Mass. 2/24/24.
Oh, I didn't ever realize that. I guess I never thought of the year and the day. Yeah.
Easy to remember.
That's a great birthday. Yeah.
And I was the 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I was the 6th child. Mother had 10, and 2 of them died very young.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little girl born before I was born, and she had problems.
Mm-hmm.
She had a hair lip,
Okay, right.
and her the hole, the clothes was on the top of the head, didn't close.
Yeah.
And anyway, in those days, they took care of it they just fed her sugar until she died.
Wow.
My aunt took care of my mother and just fed. Of course, in those days, you didn't get right up and do anything.
Right.
At least our family didn't. There were families that did. But,
and then her Aunt Millie, she was a preemie. They put, you said, in a shoebox and put her in the oven
yeah, she only
for an
weighed.
incubator.
Oh, really? Wow.
She only weighed a pound and less than a pound.
Whoa.
And she was big. She was bigger than me when she grew up.
Oh, really?
She was a big woman.
Wow. That oven really works.
And we put her in a shoebox,
Wow. In a shoebox. Wow. That's how
And-
big she was.
bundled her all up,
Yeah.
patted the box and all,
Yeah.
and just shoved her in the oven. Because you always had a wood fire burning,
Okay.
and you opened the oven door and put her in, partially.
Yes. Right.
You didn't try to cook her.
Right. Right. Wow. So number 6 of
10.
essentially 8 that grew up, or
Yeah.
yeah. And your mother and father, how did they meet?
Oh, let's see. Well, my mother worked in a wire mill in Worcester, Massachusetts,
Hmm.
and I don't know really how they met.
Hmm.
My father come from New York State.
What did he do for work?
He was a machine. How do you say it?
A machinist.
Where did he work?
Well, in the end, he worked at in Hartford at I can't remember the name of it.
Did he work the steel? I thought he worked. Who worked in the railroad?
Freddie.
Oh.
Uncle Freddie.
Uncle Freddie. Okay, that's.
So how did you guys get to Connecticut?
Well, we were looking for a farm. We lived on Maple Street in East Hartford,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to get father wanted a farm. So we went looking for a house. We bought the Maple Street house from my in-laws.
No, but your family on William Street. How did you get to Connecticut?
Oh, we were in
In
Worcester.
East Hartford.
Oh, well, we were in Worcester, Massachusetts, but I don't know too much about where they came from. They lived in Bridgeport. I hear stories about it, but
Oh, how old were you when the family moved to East Hartford, to William Street?
About 12, I think.
Because you graduated from East Hartford High.
I know.
Mm. And so
Father came here because the place he was working, I was trying to think of the place he was working at, laid people off.
Mm-hmm.
And Colts Firearms in Hartford
oh yeah.
sent out a flyer saying they needed help, they wanted help. And they sent him a letter and offered him a contract.
Hmm.
And so he worked at Colts for quite a long while. And then it's the one on, oh, why can't I think of the name of the street? Because they don't need it anymore, I don't think about it.
Yeah.
It's,
School Street.
no. it was in
So how
Hartford.
did you and Grandpa meet? Well, you were living in the same town. Did you go to high school together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he didn't go to high school. No, his cousin went to school with me,
Okay.
and we had a prom coming up, and the kid that was supposed to go take me to the prom, he came from Vermont. I don't know how I connected with him, but he was supposed to come, and he was a football player, and he broke his leg.
Mm.
So I was without a date.
Mm-hmm.
Bad thing
Mhm.
at that age, you know.
Right.
And she introduced him. Oh, she said, "Do you want to go out with my cousin?" I said, "No, he's a conceited."
Oh, you knew he had a reputation, or?
I don't think so. He just had a reputation with me.
Oh.
I said, "He's conceited." I went to the roller skating rink with somebody else, and he was there. And so then the next time she said, you know, you got to find you a date, because we were friends. And she said, how about, I asked, well, they called him Willie.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I don't know, I'm getting close to the prom, I got to have
Yeah.
a date.
You don't have a lot of choices. Yeah.
So I said to her, I don't want to go out with him, he's a conceited so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had 2 or 3 girls chasing him, and I said, who wants to be bothered with that? But
There wasn't any big discussion about the age difference? Because you were only 15, 16 years old at that time.
16,
16.
father, it was
And he was almost
about
21.
4.5
Yeah.
years. Well, we went to the house and we met, and she invited us to her house, and I met him. And so, you know, he always was an awful nice guy anyway, and I guess he offered to take us all down for a hot dog or something of that sort. And
So you went to the prom with him.
yeah, we went to the prom.
You
He
went to the prom with
me.
you. That's right. That's right. And so I assume you dated for a while.
Well, I guess I met him when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
I must have been.
Yeah, because was it your junior or your senior prom? Because you graduated when
It's
you
a
were
junior
16.
prom,
Oh, really? Wow.
you know.
She skipped 2 grades,
Wow.
Miss Smarty here.
Yeah.
I wasn't so smart. My teachers were dumb.
Uh,
Yeah, I skipped the 2nd and the 5th grade.
wow.
And you got married when you were 18, so.
And
Yeah.
got married when I was 18.
So how did Grandpa ask you to marry him? Did he
I
have
don't
a
know.
ring for you and everything, or?
No, I think his cousin told him he had to have a ring. Father was not one to shop.
Right. All right. So Grandpa, did he get down on one knee? Did he ask your
No.
father if he could marry you first?
No, heck no. We just assumed we'd get married.
Oh. Mutual agreement. Huh?
Mutual agreement.
Okay.
Uh,
And I think I have a picture of your wedding picture on the steps of a church.
oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who were your bridesmaids and groomsmen?
My girlfriend who died quite young. Was my maid of honor. And I had a cousin from Worcester, was my bridesmaids. You want to watch the kids show? Oh. Hey, what's the magic word? You don't know? What's the big word? Yeah.
Oh, you whisper it. Okay, so did you have a honeymoon or anything, or did you just move into Grandpa's
We
house?
went to Saybrook. We rented a cottage on the water down
That's
there.
nice.
And my brother and his girlfriend came.
Oh.
And another, Charlie and Bonnie came. Charlie was,
I thought you went to Niagara Falls for your honeymoon.
no,
What was the Niagara Falls bit?
that must have been, I don't remember if it was before or after. But no, that was not our honeymoon.
Oh, okay.
Because your wedding, so it was June.
Yeah.
You got married in June.
20th.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, day before Grandpa's birthday, right?
Yeah.
All right, and then, so you moved in, so who was living in the house then? Grandpa's father?
And mother.
And mother, okay. So what was it like to live with your in-laws?
Oh, I had to dress her in the morning. She was crippled.
Oh, okay.
And get her food for her, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. And did you have a job or?
No,
No.
not at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I worked in East Hartford in a dry cleaners when I graduated from school, from 16 to the time I got out.
Okay,
I got
yeah.
married.
Right.
I'm hungry.
He's hungry.
Yeah, we're gonna go home and have lunch soon, okay?
Come here, I'll give you
Yeah.
some.
You have the snacks he likes.
Okay, what's that?
My grandma's house, yeah.
So,
All right, and then, I mean, you guys had a farm basically in East Hartford too, right? You raised rabbits and.
yeah, we had 300 rabbits at one time. But we didn't have much land. We only had about a half acre.
Right.
And we had one horse. Somebody gave him a horse, or he bought it. I don't remember.
Oh, right.
That
I
was
think I've
before
seen
we
a
were
picture
married.
of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That was Heather.
And so the rabbits were for meat mostly, right?
Meat rabbits, and
But
we.
did you do something with the pelts?
Yes, I made. Well, I don't. It's funny, but I don't have any of the stuff that I made.
Yeah.
Fur coats for little kids
Cool.
out of rabbit fur.
Yeah.
Rabbit doesn't stand up so good.
Oh, really?
It deteriorates good. But I had
Oh,
that
okay.
coat for a long while.
Yeah.
But it was a little girl's cat coat. And I made mittens
Mm-hmm.
and muffs.
I was gonna say a muff. I always wanted a muff when I was a little girl.
Yeah, I made a lot of those. And I was always sewing on something.
Yeah.
And, then we were looking and looking and looking and looking for the house. And you asked how we happened to pick this one. Well, we were driving around trying to see different places. And our real estate agent was with us. And we come down the hill and they said, "Here, now you find me a place like that and we'll buy it." And it was the place that we were headed for.
Right.
Of course, the real estate agent knew, but we didn't.
Right.
And so we came in and talked with them, and then we came back with
So talk to the Ungers.
the Ungers.
Yeah.
And I was thinking when we brought the children, well, I know Carol was just a baby
Right.
when we came. And I remember her coming in here and turning the heat up.
Oh.
in the dining room. She turned the heat up because there's baby in the house.
Oh, Mrs. Unger did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a kind of an old country type woman.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta heat the house a little bit better, for a little bit more
For the city
for
people
the baby.
too, right? Yeah. And
for
you
the
were,
baby. We could freeze to death,
Right.
but the baby had to be taken care of.
Right.
And so we we didn't have enough money.
Oh, really?
We didn't have, we had nothing ahead.
Mm-hmm.
We had to borrow $10,000 from for the cows that were on the place.
Oh.
And the reason that we got the money so easy is because we had good credit.
Oh, okay.
And he took care of his mother and father, good
Mhm.
reputation,
Mm-hmm.
that sort of thing. It doesn't matter now, but it did then.
Right, back then, right, your banker would know your integrity, right?
Right.
You would get judged on that.
Part of it is,
Yeah.
it was the Farmers Credit Union that we got it from.
Okay.
And, it was kind of tough. I mean, it was robbing Peter to pay Paul all the
Mhm.
time. I remember one time he came, Father always gave me all of his money. He came, I was somewhere else, and somebody came to collect something for something, I don't know for what.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got home, I said, well, what do we do? And he told me, and I said, you paid him? And he said, yeah, I paid so-and-so. I said, you paid all of it? He paid every cent of the bill that we owed. We owed a lot
right.
of money here and there. And I said, well, what do we give to?
Yeah, everybody
one,
else.
everybody
is
else.
looking for money. Yeah.
And was he? He was not a money manager, and he knew it.
Yeah.
So from that point forward, he made sure he didn't pay anything. And if somebody comes when I'm not here, don't pay him anything. But he never, after that, he never carried any money around with him.
Mm-hmm.
If he needed $5, he'd say, have you got $5?
Right. You were the bank machine. Huh?
And I would give him $5 and say, don't you need 10? No, I don't want to carry that much money around.
Mm-hmm.
And he was that way until he died. He never wanted to carry more than what he needed for his coffee and
Yeah.
whatnot.
So what was around in Granby when you first moved here? I mean, yeah. Right, did you have a grocery store?
Yeah, Gay and Kellogg's was here,
Mm-hmm.
which is now Geisler's.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't there, it was on the corner. The building is gone now, they've completely demolished it.
Okay.
It was, as you turned in, where the Granby drugstore is now,
Mm-hmm.
the Gay and Kellogg's was right,
In front of it.
right side of it.
Side of it, yeah.
And let's see, who else was here? Granby Drug, not in the place that it's in now. It was in the well, I don't know what's in there now. Next to the gas station there.
Yeah, it's like the electric company or something.
Yeah,
I
something.
think. It's
Yeah,
something like
but
that.
that's where the drugstore was
Okay,
until they moved across the street.
right.
And what else was there? There wasn't much.
Was that street there, Bank Street? Where?
Bank Street, well, it was there, but it was not developed.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess the post office got put in there, and they put Bank Street in.
Okay.
And I don't really pay much attention to these. I was very busy. And I started to say before, I can remember one night ironing 37 shirts.
Oh boy.
I ironed until 3 o'clock in the morning. Laid down for a couple of minutes, and 4 o'clock got up and helped round up the stock.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, did you ever have the need to go to Simsbury for anything, or?
Simsbury, the grain store was in Simsbury.
Okay, Valley Home and Garden. That's
Valley
where you
Home and
went?
Gardens was down
Okay,
under
so it
near
was
the
there.
railroad tracks,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they delivered.
Okay.
So we had connection with them, but we didn't go there very often.
Mm-hmm.
unless we needed a rake or something.
Sure, yeah.
And, trying to think what else was here. Not much, I can tell you that. It's
Was the South Church here?
yes.
Yes.
South Church was
Yeah.
still here, and the building in the back, that was
Mhm.
the town hall
Oh, really?
a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then it was the kindergarten.
Right. I thought it was a school.
It was a school. I worked in the school there for a while in my off hours. When I had time.
Yeah. When were your off hours?
I don't know when they were. I really don't know how I managed to milk the cows and keep track of the kids.
Yeah.
But
So did you sell the milk to like a wholesale? Would a big truck
Hoods.
come in? Hoods, yeah.
Hoods, we made first grade A milk for Hoods,
Mm-hmm.
and then they demanded that we have the metal tank, the big metal tank,
Mm-hmm.
and we did buy the metal tank, but it was kind of too much. In the end, Fred Lowenstein came and used it for several years. He's a cattle dealer.
Mm-hmm.
And, I remember when he came in, this, of course, the youngest held our
No.
note.
Right.
And so I go down there and we talked. And I said, well, the cow dealer was going to come in. What cow dealer? I said, oh, Lowenstein. He said, oh, no. You wouldn't do that to me. I said, what am I doing to you now, Barbara? And she said, yeah, no rent to a Jew.
Oh, really? Wow.
No rent to a Jew. And I said, well, are you going to pay my mortgage?
Yeah.
No. She was going to pay my mortgage. Of course she wasn't.
Right.
I said, well, it'll be all right, Barbara. Honest, it will. So anyway, the next 6 months came along, and she said to me, you're a good lady. I said, what did I do? She said, you know rent a Jew. When old ladies say no, you don't do it. I said, I did, Barbara. That's where your money has been coming from for a long time. Oh, she said, I never see him. I said, told you he wouldn't bother you.
Right, yeah.
And the same thing happened when we took the children. She said, you know taking children. You don't need to take in children. I said, well, I'm going to. And I said, Barbara, I already have two. And she said, you don't take no more. That's enough. Don't bother old lady. I said, they won't bother old lady. Old lady won't even know it. Oh, yes, they'll bother the old lady. So the next 6 months came along, and she said, oh, you're a good girl. And I knew right away what I had done. I had not taken children, according to her.
Uh-huh.
I had 6 boarding at the time,
Uh-huh.
besides my own.
She had no idea, right?
And she had no idea.
Yeah.
She said, I don't see them. I said, I told them not to go in your yard.
Yeah.
And she said, and they didn't go. I said, of course not. I'm the boss in my house.
Uh-huh.
And then she laughed. Oh, you're a good girl.
That's funny. And did she have an accent? Why?
Yeah, she
why-
had a foreign accent.
Mm-hmm.
She was Lithuanian.
Oh, okay.
And Jerry, her husband, used to run the cemetery up here.
Oh, okay.
And he was a nice man. And when we first moved in here, of course, we weren't familiar with the machines or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to come over, and he'd see our lights go on in the barn, and he would come over and help. You know,
That's not,
tell
yeah,
us,
just check on you, make sure. things
say
were
this
going
goes there and that goes there.
Yeah.
And he did that for quite a long while.
Mm-hmm.
He was a good man.
So did you breed the cows? Oh, you have to when you have a
have
dairy.
to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we had a bull. That's a good story too.
Okay.
I was in the barn cleaning up as usual. We're always cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
you know, cobwebs and
Everything.
you know what else.
Yeah.
And the cows would come in and they'd all go into their own stall, and then you go along a line.
Feed 'em,
You knock.
yeah.
Well, we had the hitches to hitch them up,
Okay, yeah.
and I go along and pull the levers.
Yes, the stocks, yeah.
Yeah. So I go along, pull.
Mm-hmm.
I opened the bull's. See, his was closed, but I was automatically. Oh, well, anyway,
Just, yeah.
I let the bull out.
Uh-huh.
You have a bull rampaging in your barn?
Oh, no.
No.
No. Dangerous.
Dangerous. So here I am running around trying to get the darn bull to turn around and go back in his stall.
Yeah.
And of course he came in from work, I guess, or wherever he was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only time, well, 2 times I heard him raise his voice to me. That was once. Get out of the barn, he says to me. And of course, I cried very easy at that time.
Yeah. Oh, I can relate.
Tears running down my face. I'll get out of the barn when I get good and ready.
Oh, okay.
I said, I own as much of this farm as you do, so.
Oh, I gotta try to use that sometimes.
So I said, no, don't raise your voice to me. And that was it. We kept at it until we got, Jerry came over that day and took the pitchforks with his hired man.
Mm-hmm.
And they guided the bull into the stall.
Okay.
So Jerry was very good to us.
Well, was Grandpa worried? Was he? I could imagine 2 things. I mean, maybe he's mad that the bull is out, but he's also worried about you.
He was worried about me getting hurt.
Absolutely.
That's what he was worried about.
Yeah.
The bull was
Yeah.
good. And and the only other time I ever heard him raise his voice was just before Jay and you bought the place.
Uh-oh.
Something happened out there, and he said something, and I said, you shouldn't say that. And he started to raise his voice, and I said, you can't raise your voice to me. And he shut up. Shut him up. And I said, I work as hard as you do, so put up with it. So anyway, he did. That's the only time I ever heard him raise his voice to me.
Yeah.
He was a very nice man.
Emma started riding when she was an adult, right?
Oh, this was here.
Yes, so how come, so you were a rider since you were a child.
What are you going?
I'm making a video of you. Tell me about when Grandma started riding.
When she started riding was when we were here, and we, in Holland had to go. She used to go with us, and you know how that's terrible when
I can't remember names. Yeah. It's all right.
Anyway, his wife and he would come along with her husband, and so Ed was when I took him in the trailer and we went up to the horse show. I mean, that's the club we belonged to. And when we got up there,
What was the club you belonged to?
she see all these women riding these horses, and she finally said all the time, Bill Collins, he says, Bill, why don't you find a horse for me, and I'm going to start riding.
How old was she?
Perhaps I don't know, 60 or
Oh, wow.
55, 60, I forgot. And So we got a horse with only 2 hands.
Okay. Yeah.
She,
Nice small one.
She wasn't even
Yeah.
I rode him, he rode him, the fellow he knew. And so we got the horse, and she rode him. And she went on all the trail rides with him.
Yeah.
And,
Now, why didn't she ever ride
she never
until?
rode, not galloping, or you could trot.
Sure.
and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they started trotting, she'd either go slow herself. The horse was good.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I stayed with it for a while.
Yeah.
And once we were on a trail ride with Dave Peters and a whole half a dozen others. And we went up to another trail ride. It was a rough place, with stones and everything. And she was up about 2, 3 ahead of me. And Dave was right behind her. And all of a sudden we went across and the horse got his foot caught in the stones and he went down and she went down too.
Oh no.
With her leg underneath him.
Oh no.
He said, Romeo, you stay here. So she held
Romeo
him
was
down,
his name?
and she sideways till she could get her leg. So then Dave got off and then she gave him the reins and she got her leg out and she got up and he got jumped up.
Wow.
She got back on but continued on.
Wow. Good for her.
That was quite a time.
Yeah.
Dressing them and then I traded a car in a panel truck. The door open in the back and then I had a Helen Pratt Whitney sign painter come out at night after work and he painted on it, maple with rabbitry and live or dressed rabbits and fur products.
Right, yeah.
And you know, I'd come out of work, I'd have notes on the windshield.
Really? People wanting things?
What department I'm in, what's his name,
Oh yeah.
and all this and that. So next thing I know, they come in with rabbits, left notes and places where I used to bring them in.
So people really wanted rabbit meat, huh?
Oh,
Yeah, they loved it. And was it an ethnic thing
A
or?
lot of people, a lot of colored people, a lot of people in Hartford,
Oh yeah.
and a couple of restaurants I knew, and they used to take them. Then when I had all the big rabbits, and I dressed them all, there was a Puerto Rico, what you call it, Puerto Rico something, a store in Hartford. And boy, they liked them when they had any fairs going on, weddings or anything. They'd call me and ask me if I got any rabbits. I had them in the freezer too. And then all the big rabbits I used to sell them. And I didn't have to clean them, just clean them. And we didn't have to cut them up.
Right. Yeah.
And then they always wanted the heads. So I used to save some.
They always wanted the heads?
And give them the heads.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What were the heads for?
Well, they cook them off.
Oh.
Oh yeah. A lot of people eat them. The funny part was, some of them that did always eat rabbit, and wild rabbits when they were hunting.
Yeah.
In the summer, they never got a hunting because sometimes they got some kind of disease.
Oh really?
So it wasn't a domestic rabbit. So anyway, sometimes in the summer, we had always a surplus because a lot of people wouldn't eat rabbit in the summer.
Oh yeah.
So I put them in the freezer.
Big freezer, yeah.
That's a joke. Put them in the freezer, Then it comes October and something, November. Oh, they're ready for rabbits. They want rabbits. They had the rabbits.
Same rabbits, yeah.
Frozen. What difference it made? They never had nothing. Small ones, in the package. In the boxes, cellophane front, and then they had recipes in the back.
Recipes,
And
yeah.
they're all cut up in the liver laying in the top. And in between the meat. So then they always took that many after. So Bird's Eye called us up, and they wanted to know if it's possible to get a lot of rabbit meat boxed up.
Wow.
And when they seen that, and he said, well, we don't know how many we want. And they said, oh God, we have to have about 200 a week.
200 a week. Wow.
So I said, well,
How many were you doing at that time?
I said we did about 60
60 a week?
a week or
Wow.
a couple of weeks. And whatever we had the order. So, and then I bought them from different ones. And they raised the rabbits by me. When they got to the 4 pounds, about 6 or 8 weeks old.
Right.
Then I buy them back, and they could keep 1 or 2 out of the litter. The rest I'd take. And then I'd give them another rabbit that's going to have them. And they were, because what happened too, I couldn't, I wanted to build another cement block, cinder block, and have freezer and everything in there. That's because the winter time is pretty hard. I had to keep some in the garage.
Right.
Just having little one. And so anyway, I went up for permit, and they wouldn't let us have it to build another building. But we could have what we had, what we've been doing.
Right.
But now everything's changed in the area.
Yeah, yeah.
It had to be residential.
Right.
And there weren't enough property to build in it. Well, we had enough to build it without interfering with the neighbor. They were all right.
Right. Well,
Just
sometimes
couldn't
that
do it.
doesn't matter.
So we said the heck with it.
Yeah.
So the minute we sold, nobody could keep nothing.
Oh, really? After that?
When I went back to see the place, we stopped and everything was changed around. All down the building we had there where we had the freezer and everything. So that was torn down.
Wow. So when you came here, did Mr. Unger, was this place called Mapleview Farm or no? What did he call his dairy?
Well, they really didn't have much of a name for it.
No?
But, what's his name? What did he use when he built here?
Oh, Old Farms
Old Farm.
Landscaping, yeah.
He put Old Farm.
Yeah.
So when we come, and I took that sign that iron pole over the
Oh, yeah?
sign. So we said, there's a lot of maple trees, all down the pasture.
Right.
And he's here. And
Yeah.
so I said, well, we'll make this maple.
Mapleview Farm, right.
So we changed it over.
Yeah, that was good.
So I sold all the rabbit to the ones that were raising for me. Let them do what they wanted to do.
You didn't want to do rabbits here?
I couldn't-
The cows
couldn't
were
be
too
doing
much.
that
Yeah.
to the dairy.
Yeah.
So that was the end of that.
How'd you know how to just come in and milk cows and everything?
Oh, I worked on it. I worked when I got out of school. I worked for 2 different dairy farms. And then I worked for there. And then the fellow, the one on the end of the street where I was working, I worked for him, and he was all alone as a housekeeper. And his wife died. He's an old guy. He had a housekeeper there. And I worked with him there, doing the dairy and drove horses and everything. So anyway, from there on, couple of years later, we had the flood and everything, and he was going down. Of course, one time he was pretty wealthy, in tobacco farming, and he lost everything. So
In the flood?
Yeah?
In the flood, you mean? He lost
Well,
everything, or?
he lost in the tobacco business.
Mm.
You know, he went bankrupt, and he was in the town business and everything. So the next thing you know, he was up against it. The bank was supporting things like this. So finally he took sick and he died. When he was sick in bed, I took care of all the chickens and the cows, and we had a lot of chickens, hundreds of them. And we had pigs and things like that. So I had to take care of everything for him. And he was down broke. And so I had to take the eggs up to the place where we sold them. And then finally, I guess he was down so low that when he died, the bank or the doctor, I don't know who it was, told us to the housekeeper and I, the bank wanted to know if we could still do it until they have an auction in a couple of weeks. So I said, well, we'll do it, but my father worked with me, two of us, and did the milking, did everything, did the chicken. So he was down so much, you know, when he got to be there, what money he had left, he used to tell me, go down, that's when I had to get the money to pay for something, you know. He had a big thing there with all this change and everything, money, and I had to bring it up. And he always told me, you don't have to do that, just take the money out and pay for that, there was a lot in there, you know, and change and all $50. Oh God, they've been in there for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when I guess they had to add things up, what he had left in cash, besides, you know, the bank had nothing more. And I think it was the doctor did that. I don't know, somebody was in charge. So they ended up with a couple hundred, no, it was $120. Yeah, it was 240 or something. I think I got $120. We divided it all up between her, the housekeeper and I. There was nobody else.
Right.
And gave us that and said that's all there was left. And the bank, you know, just took over the farm. When they offered for us a lot of the property for pay taxes, and
Right.
father couldn't pay nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Earned some money, he could just about get us $75, you know, a year to pay the taxes.
Right.
So, of course, we took over then after my wife and I had grandma at the thing. We took over the place and taken care of it. And paid my father the loan and for the mortgage. And so that's how it is. But I tell you, they even called and wanted to know if we were interested in buying the property for taxes and everything. You know, that's how desperate things were. You know.
That's
Nobody was buying property or doing anything with money.
Right.
So then it ended up with...
What year was this, do you think?
About 19...
Before you moved here, huh?
I have to think of 1938, I think it was.
1938, so coming out of the Depression, really.
Right. Yeah, Well, yeah, it was coming out, but anyway, there was nothing moving until 1940, I think 1940, when they started to develop the war,
Yeah.
and the bank went and sold everything.
Yeah.
And built houses. That's when everything changed all around. And oh yeah, a lot of the farmers, they had the auction, bought the property, all the property down at Meadows, Hayland, $1 an acre.
$1 an acre.
So they made money when they sold the property then.
Yeah.
Of all that building and houses.
Wow. Sure.
From $15,000 down.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? Just a carryover and a carrier.
What's a carrier? A pail?
Deliver the milk.
A bucket or what?
A bucket, yeah. What they used to deliver milk with.
Oh, okay. So it would be in a milk bottle.
Yeah, milk is only about 15 cents a quart.
Wow.
See the difference?
Big difference.
At that time. Yeah. The dairy I worked for, he was delivering. Well, he was delivering raw milk. So you could sell milk if you didn't sell more than, what was it, 6 quarts or 8 quarts a day.
You could sell 6 or 8 quarts of raw milk a day? Okay.
And
Wow.
so anyway, he, of course, a cow.
Did you need a license for that?
No.
No. Okay.
So anyway, he was selling raw milk. We went into selling milk. And his son, we went to school together and everything, and roller skating and everything. Something handled. And so anyway, when he died and everything went, they tore down the farms and everything. And so I went and worked for them. And anyway, I'm going from there. Yeah, of course, then we bought a cow after that. So then my mother was sick. We were married then, yeah. Mother had a stroke. Until she died. And anyway, what was it? I was working for them then. I'm trying to think of what the heck was all over the
Mhm.
So I went in like, oh God, I said, I don't know. You smell that oil, you smell this and that. And machine work, So he said, well, he said, you get used to it. He said, you'll come in. I said, I don't know. I said, maybe, I don't know whether I don't want nights or what I can do. But I said, I don't know if I do want to do it. And he said, I'll tell you something. He said, I can get you in on the day shift. He said, if you want to come in on the day shift, he says, I can get you in. I says, well, maybe. He says, try it. He says, I think you'll like it. And I went in. And I worked. And of course, the pay was better then.
The pay was better?
The
Yeah.
pay was better. So anyway, I got that. I think I got about $60 a week to start doing. And then it was better. We had a bonus if we make more. And
So you were a machinist?
working on the bench, working. you know, you're grinding and doing things.
Okay.
And so finally, Pratt and Whitney decided to go into Southington. And this, so I said, Jesus, I don't know what we're going to do. And they says, well, do you want to transfer or do you want to go to Southington? So, guys, you know, they had so many in our department that were born close by and everything. And they all wanted to transfer. So about 3 months later, they had the plant opened up and one in somewhere else, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them. So they says, well, they're going to move our department to Southington. That's 25 miles from home. And I says, oh God. And I said, you know, we got to drive. No, by then, of course, I have my license and everything. We went to Southington. So I was there for a couple of years. Then they hired all women there, and they were all local from Southington. So the next thing you know, we were in the union and all that. That's why then I had appendicitis, I had to be out for a couple of weeks. And then we got back and then all of a sudden they started to kind of cut down. There were transfers going into East Hartford. Back to where I worked.
Back to where you were.
Well, I had 2 years seniority. We were in union.
Yeah.
So Tommy Sorensen, I the one who claimed to be I always forget. They died anyway, he was a year older than I was. Anyway, so he says to me, he says, Jesus, he says, let's find out what the story is. They come back laughing, the women. They come over, they're all women working with us, you know, and not what area we were.
Yeah.
So I says to him, Jesus, they're going to East Hartford, and we come out. He said, let's go see the foreman. So we went to see the foreman. Oh, he said, you weren't picked because you got 2 years
Oh, so you didn't have to move.
2 years seniority.
Right.
What the hell was it to
You should at least have a
The
choice.
same as I did. He said, well, maybe we can get you up there if you want to. It was your seniority. If we get to East Hartford and they had a layoff, we'd be laid off. We just weren't disgusted.
Yeah.
And so we went back and we got back with both of them. And I went in for an interview with personnel. And he said, what kind of a job did you have in mind if you went to East Hartford? Because our jobs weren't there. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I'd like to get. I'd like to get somewhere where they build the engines or test area.
Right. You wanted to do more of a mechanic's job.
I wanted to do more than I liked to do it.
Yeah.
I only did it because of money
Yeah.
at that time. So I said to him, and he says, well, I tell you what, he said, you got an opening on the night shift. I said, I ain't gonna go on the night shift. You know, we still had to go back in there, you know.
Yeah.
We only went for an interview. So and the other guy with me, they asked him what he wanted to do, what he had in mind. Of course, he had a bum leg, you know. He had a brace on his leg. He had paralysis or something. No, he had a big bonnet, and his leg was folded under here. So we said, I want to get something I don't have too much to do. Because he knew about bicycles to go out and do different jobs, you know. Because he knew a lot of people. And he said something. So I said, well, I think I got a place for you. So, no. He said, yeah, but that was the same old story the other night. Now here we go again. Both of us. heck, we were going back. See, so we went back and we told the foreman, and he says, wait a minute, he says, I'll tell you what we can do. I'll call the general foreman. So we called him, and he asked him, he says to him, he said, you send them out to personnel. Evidently, General Foreman called up the personnel there, and we told them about us and everything. I guess they wanted to help us out. So we knew both of them anyway. So anyhow, he called them and we went back out and he told me, he said, well, yesterday we filled up the night shift. He said, we got an opening tonight on the day shift.
Ah,
See how quick?
all of a sudden,
All
huh?
the time.
Granby, what was Granby like, and how did you meet people out here? I mean, you didn't have any friends, right?
Oh, that's another story. I tell you, I got a lot of stories.
I know you do. That's why I like
got
taking
more
movies
stories
of
than
you.
probably know. So then, oh yeah, now they come out here. Oh, we went to Colchester. And we went out there to see about getting a farm. Oh, what happened then? Yeah, I thought we were going to look at a farm. Father was, he sounded real good about going to the farm. So I went out, we went looking at the farm. So we went out and we went to look at the farm. And the farm with an agent. We seen one farm. And the only trouble was, there was no, we went to see it was a nice, pretty good farm. And yeah, the house too. But the land, there's no water.
No water.
No water, nobody living in the house. And they didn't have any wells. And what the hell are they going to do? Buy a place because of big wells or something,
Yeah.
So it was a reasonable price on it. Then we turned around and a lot of acres, but it was rocky. So then we didn't take no interest in that. So then we found another place down in Hebron. And we went and looked at that. And they had an old house. Pretty good farm. So I figured, well, for the price of it, we probably could go down and, buy that and build a new house out towards the front. And anyway, for the price. So then we went back and decided we were going to see whether he was going to put a deposit on. So I told my father, he went out and looked with us. And he seemed to be agreeable, everything was all right. So anyway, we go back home and mention about it, when he went and seen it. So then we was going to make it time to go put a deposit on it. Go ahead and see what we can do. And so I finally, meantime he goes down to he used to go down to the tavern and have a drink.
Right. Rather often, right? From what I.
Yeah, he used to go down in the corner. So he was down here one day and he went down and told me he was thinking down on the farm and doing it. And they started telling me, well, Alan said, they knew he liked to have a beer.
Sure.
Back and something. So he said, well, not that he couldn't have beer at home, but that wasn't the point. He didn't say this, So nothing come. And then when we asked him about going down after that, he was about ready to go. He said, now we got to know what you're doing because we're all set to go. Well, he says, I'll tell you what, he don't tell us this, you know. And, anyway, he says, no, he says, I don't think, he says, I can stay here. I said, no, we have, you know, we had a chance of selling the place. And so we did. Well, that's, you know, what we seen.
Yeah.
And we hadn't done nothing, definitely. So, anyway, anyhow, when I said, told him, oh, he says, I don't have to buy it. I said, I think some woman wanted to buy it.
Mhm.
Our place. And so we had an agent. So, of course, we turned around and we says to him, well, we decided we ain't gonna, I guess no, he says, I can live in that showroom,
Mhm.
you know, in that thing we had.
Right.
Quite as big as the whole garage here.
Mhm.
And that thing there. I said, you can't live in there. Of course, there was a stove in there and we had everything.
Mhm.
And I said, you can't live here like that. No, I said, well, they won't bother. We'll stay here. So I said, well, we just left everything go.
Granby, what was Granby like, and how did you meet people out here? I mean, you didn't have any friends, right?
Oh, that's another story. I tell you, I got a lot of stories.
I know you do. That's why I like
got
taking
more
movies
stories
of
than
you.
You probably got. So then, oh yeah, now they come out here. Oh, we went to Colchester. And we went out there to see about getting a farm. Oh, what happened then? Yeah, I thought we were going to look at a farm. Father was, you know, he sounded agreeable about going to the farm. So I went out, we went looking at the farm. So we went out and we went to look at the farm. And the farm with an agent. We seen one farm, and the only trouble was, there was no, we went to see it was a nice, pretty good farm, and yeah, the house too, but the land, there's no water,
No water.
nobody living in the house, and they didn't have any well, and what the hell are they going to do? Buy a place because of big wells or something, you know.
Yeah.
So it was a reasonable price on it. Then we turned around and a lot of acres, but it was rocky. So then we didn't seem to interest in that. So then we found another place down in Hebron. And we went and looked at that. And they had an old house. Pretty good farm. So I figured, well, for the price of it, we probably could go down and, you know, buy that and build a new house out towards the front. And anyway, for the price. So then we went back and decided we were going to see whether he was going to put a deposit on. So I told my father, he went out and looked with us. And he seemed to be agreeable, you know, everything was all right. So anyway, we go back home and mention about it, you know, when he went and seen it. So then we was going to make it time to go put a deposit on it. So go ahead and see what we can do. And so I finally, meantime he goes down to he used to go down to the tavern and have a drink.
Right. Rather often, right? From what I.
Yeah, he used to go down in the
Yeah.
corner. So he was down here one day and he went down and told me he was going to the farm and do it. And they started telling me, he was, well, Alan said, you know, they knew he liked to have a beer, you
Sure.
Back or something. So he said, well, not that he couldn't have beer at home, but that wasn't the point. He didn't say this,
Mhm.
Nothing come. And then when we asked him about going down after that, he was about ready to go. And he said, now we got to know what you're doing because we're all set to go. Well, he says, I'll tell you what, he don't tell us this, And, anyway, he says, no, he says, I don't think, he says, I can stay here. I said, well, we have, we had a chance of selling the place. And so we did. Well, that's, when we see,
Yeah.
we hadn't done nothing, definitely. So, anyway, anyhow, when I said, told him, he says, I don't have to buy it. I said, I think some woman wanted to buy it.
Mhm.
Our place. And so we had an agent. So of course we turned around and we says to him, well, we decided we ain't gonna, I guess he says, I can live in that showroom,
Mhm.
in that thing we had.
Right.
Quite as big as the whole garage here.
Mhm.
And that thing there. I said, you can't live in there. Plus there was a stove in there and we had everything.
Mhm.
And I said, you can't live here like that. No, I said, well, they won't bother. We'll stay here. So I said, well, we just left everything go. I said, we'll just forget about it in years to come.
Mhm. Now he's Al. What was his full name? Albert or
Al, yeah, Albert.
Albert? It was.
And then, so I go down and have a beer there. I stop one day. He said, you're not going to the farm? I said, no. I said, how they going to go? And they said, I know why. But I know why. And I said, no, what do you mean? He says, maybe because we happen to mention it's a dry town,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
there's no tavern.
That's right.
And of course, he never told us that. We didn't say nothing. Never mentioned it.
So how did he die?
Oh, you didn't know that?
I don't remember. No, tell me how he died.
What are you going to do with that?
I don't know.
God.
Just collecting them.
Well, it ended up that he took his, one day I was pushing rabbit in the garage, and he stopped. I'm going down for a beer. I said, well, okay, I don't know where he goes there. But he says, I'm going down. Because I know he goes down and have a beer,
Mhm.
So next thing I knew, he went down. Well, he didn't come home that night. He didn't come home after. And this is not unusual because sometimes he'd go to Hartford and see his brother,
Oh.
and he'd be gone for a day or two. My mother always would say, she'd say to him, someday you don't get home and you're gonna, something will happen to you and won't know what's going on. And she was probably before.
Yeah.
It wasn't unusual.
Did they both speak with an accent?
Huh?
Did they both speak with an accent?
No, they
No?
talk English. They
Oh,
learned
yeah.
English. They talk German, and he could talk German, Swiss and German.
Mhm.
Same way of it. So anyway, anyhow, we didn't bother nothing for a couple of years. Then all of a sudden, when he when he didn't show up, we called up after a couple of days. What the heck, we went over and found his uncle there. He says, no. He says, I haven't seen him.
Oh no.
You haven't seen him? I said, no. He says, no, we went and called the police after we
Yeah.
checked with him. And we called the police in East Hartford. And he said, if you hear, about anything, our father anymore or anything happens, and they didn't know, and so we left it in their hands.
Mhm.
So then we said, what the heck happened? And all of a sudden, a couple of days later, that was the third day, I guess, something like that, we got a phone call. That's my brother was living then, his wife. And then we got a phone call. The police department in Hartford wants us to come over. And we have a man here that was named Albert Bogli. And so they said he died. And he had a brain hemorrhage.
Oh.
So,
Where?
no, they didn't tell us too much until we went over. We got into the police station and they showed us, they wanted to know what he had. We said, well, before he left, I don't know, it was that day or the day before, he left a wife $200 that he had. Then he said, we didn't say what he had.
He left Grandma.
Grandma,
Okay.
$200.
Huh.
And to get a new notary with a floor for her birthday.
Oh.
So we can think about it.
Yeah.
So then he took and went to Hartford and we stopped in the tavern, which I guess he did before. And
So this was winter time. Grandma's birthday's in February, so.
yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, it come to find out that we went over and they brought it after we told him what he had. We told him he had a watch and he had what you call it, he had change and there wasn't much money in it. Well, that part, a couple of dollars or something. I don't know what it was. It wasn't nothing like he'd have more money in his pocket.
Yeah.
But we didn't say nothing because he left $200. What do we know,
Yeah.
We didn't say nothing. So I said, well, what's the story? He said, well, somebody want to see you?
Yeah. Hi.
You don't by chance have a ticket?
I don't. I'm sorry.
So should I?
No. You just don't leave any money now and pay later.
The truck out there this morning.
No, Jason.
Oh, Jason was
Yeah,
there.
he's been feeding the pigs.
Yeah.
I
'Cause
thought he had, but then I saw the truck go by and I said, gee, Jason must have gone to work and Katie's already getting behind the wheel.
no. It's still. I've been trying not to lift stuff that's too heavy.
Right.
So he's been doing the pig stuff.
Oh, you're so nice, yeah.
But she'll be back someday. In the meantime, this is all about them. 70 years. God, that's a long time. Not many people get there. You're a special couple. Special to me and to the brothers and sisters. All you hear wouldn't be around wasn't for them too, because you sprung off a long stuff. Except for my neighbors here, I'm going to include them. Terry and Sue, who we played as little kids around here. It seems strange to see them as mothers and grandmothers, and then grandmothers. And same with you. I can't imagine you getting up 70 years in. when I go in the house, I feel like I'm still 19, coming in looking for advice, looking for support, and they always have it. And they've always helped me out with loans, which I paid back, and with the rest of it, which we paid back. We're strictly a business family. If anybody thinks any of us didn't make our way on our own, we did, and we had to, because they didn't give in to it, because they knew they weren't going to be around long. But then again, here they are. And I just plain love the death out of them, and I'm going to be around until they do go. And I'm going to be sad to see them go, and happy at both same time, because I can't match them. I'm never going to be as good as they've been. They've been really good. And just not going to be another couple like them and stuff. I mean, I'm working on going on 34, 35 years. God, it'd be 7 years. Frank, and them, the kids are all good.